Good morning, afternoon and evening. Welcome back to episode 2 of Gran Turismo 7 weekly challenges from me. I did this last week and I thought I'd do it as much as I can because, not gonna lie, can't always get to the game in the weekends. But for this episode 2, they have changed it up on us once again, bringing us a brand new event type. As you can see there, it's a time trial with 4 other events, including that last one being rather long at one of the new tracks, Yas Marina. But the first event is the American Sunday Cup 600 event using road cars from the United States, and I thought I'd handicap myself once again in these events. This is the C2 Corvette with very little modifications. I think what I did was put new tyres on it, and that was about it. Sports mediums to be exact, so it was kind of a handful through these corners. Down the straights though, was perfectly fine. Around these corners, like I said, not so much, but because the Gran Turismo AI is shit, it wasn't exactly difficult to get through the packs. The cat and mouse chases kind of get old real quick. I wish they would just throw in some of the chili pepper events into these weekly challenges. Good challenge they are. I do like them. Some of my favourite events in the game. This C2 Corvette was a hell of a beast down the straight, and it didn't take me long to get to the front where the Viper is. It's a good slide there from me. Like I said, a bit twitchy around these corners. I did get some good moves in, as you can see there, past the C1 Corvette and through the Viper here. Duck it down the inside, absolutely dive down. Nothing good, nothing else apart from good from that move. There's some great driving there from your boy. I do like to keep my fails and bloopers in these videos because I am not the perfect driver. In fact, I think my driver rating, this either shows how little online racing I do or how shit I am at it. It is a C and an A. Anyway, that was a win. The second race is the European Clubman Cup 600, so again, road cars and basically everything from the European Union you can run. So I decided to use a previous build of mine, the Renault Kangoo LM touring car. If you want to see this video of this car that I did, it is up in the top right corner, you can check it out. But the same principle applies from that event. I did not touch this car at all, so it was a bit slow on the acceleration side, but the grip, it is in bags full. It is still such a fun car to drive, still quite ridiculous. It reminds me of that Peugeot 805 Super Touring car that was actually a van that someone ran at Spa 24 hours, but hey, in Renault form. Also, you know how I said I wanted to handicap myself in these events to make them a bit more interesting? Yeah, I didn't do that for this one. This may be the end of lap 1, honestly, and that BMW M3 was the leader of the race, so I may have accidentally overpowered myself with a Renault Kangoo. Yes, I know it sounds quite ridiculous, but hey, when you build one this good at cornering, I probably should have expected it, honestly, probably should have put sports mediums or sports hards on it, but anyway, I didn't think it was going to be this good, and we got the win in the second event. The third event is a time trial, like I said, based sort of like a license event in the FTO around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. When it said time trial, I thought it would have been more like those one-lap time trials in licenses, but it isn't. It's just a lap around the first half of Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Bit sloppy lap of mine, not gonna lie. Probably could have done it better. Thought I was gonna be under the goal time, but this time was a 47.7. The goal time is a 50. Yeah, I didn't expect to be that quick compared to the goal time. Maybe if they're gonna do more of these, don't have the goal time so piss easy, make it more of a challenge. Like I said, I've been twitchy around most of these corners and I still managed to be over 2 seconds under the goal time. But hey, managed to squeak this event out quite quickly, in fact, but that makes up for the 5th race of this set of races. 4th event is your typical Nissan GTR Cup sort of thing, 5 laps at Deep Forest. You can choose any of the Nissan GTRs in the game that are 700 pp or less. You probably would have thought that it was a good chance to use the new Mine Skyline, but I didn't do that. I chose to handicap myself and use this R32 GTR, but it only had about 350 horsepower. And that's probably for the best, because it was actually using this car quite a challenge, because it had about 200 to 300 horsepower less than the front-running R35 GTRs. It took actually a wee bit to catch up to them. Didn't help that my driving looks exactly like this sometimes, but hey, that's what happens when you don't have all your focus on one screen. I did have some other form of racing going on in the background, just watching on my laptop, but that's not what's important. What's important is this event. The GTR Cups are some of probably the best one-make events in the game, mainly due to the fact that there are just so many fucking GTRs in this game. It does hurt sometimes in the long run having like 17 GTRs in the game, but hey, it does make this event more exciting. It's just a shame that they couldn't have added any post-event GTRs in this, well, event. There are no Mine Skylines in here. There's none of the tuned spec of the 70s Skyline that's in the power pack. Nothing like that. I think there was a Nismo 400R. I think. Not too sure. But it doesn't... I wish they did this for all the older events. They put new update cars in the game. But that's a rant for another day. Like I said, did make this event more exciting having a more of a handicapped car. Wonder if I could have handicapped myself even more. I wonder if that could be a challenge video I could do in the future. See how lower horsepower I can win events in. Leave your comments down below on that sort of idea. But anyway, this is me passing the leading R35 GTR around the outside, and here is me instantly fucking that up by outbraking myself at turn 1 and spinning out the Winfield Skyline. This is a paint, I think, made by Darth Wilco, who makes a lot of Australian touring car paints, and there goes the leader sailing away, unfortunately. And there's me catching up. I would end up catching up to him again on the last lap, so managed to make this race even more exciting than it could have been, and passing around the outside underneath the bridge. I think that was a good effort on my behalf, but hey, I don't need to toot my own horn on this case. And we head down to the final straight of the updated Deep Forest, updated for Gran Turismo 7. Probably one of the better updated tracks that they did compared to, if you compare to this High Speed Ring and Trial Mountain. What they did to Trial Mountain is shit, and High Speed Ring isn't too bad, but that was a good race. The 5th one was just, honestly, just rather long. A Group 1 prototype series race, 15 laps around Yas Marina, so not the most exciting track in the world. And I used the Mazda 787B in this livery that I made to replicate the black Mazda 787B that was in Gran Turismo 4. And I thought this was going to be more of a challenge. I thought wrong. I did want to use a Group 1 prototype in this race. I mean, it's the prototype series. I could have just easily used like a Formula 1 car, or maybe even challenge myself some more and use a GT500 car, but I didn't do that. Should I have done that? Probably, because this Mazda 787B basically ran away from the pack. To show how much of a easy race this ended up being, that's a lapped car. Yeah, I managed to catch up to the lapped cars. I did end up doing a pit stop in this race, I think about lap 10. Started on racing hards, ended on racing mediums, and yeah, like I said, pitted on lap 10. The tyres weren't really that worn out in the grand scheme of things. I just thought I had a shitload of time to the second place car, so I thought, bugger it, I'll just see how quickly I can go. And I'm heading up to the last corner here, accidentally smashed into the Porsche 919, so we finished off the races. And what do you get for your time and money? Well, a shitload of money. That's my login bonus, that's my first race bonus, that's my last race bonus, and this is my third race bonus, the 6-star roulette ticket. Daily marathon, what do I get in this one? There's still plenty of rewards on offer. That $1 million does look enticing. Those 2 cars I already have, I would end up getting 500,000 out of this, so not a bad payload from not a lot of time. The most time consuming thing was the Group 1 prototype race, which would have been exciting if it was a bit closer, but I will see you in possibly next week's Gran Turismo 7 weekly challenges.